tap, beep, $4.75 gone. You didn't hand anyone a coin, you didn't even open your wallet. A phone touched a metal pad for half a second, and somewhere, a number changed. That's money in 2026. Not paper, not metal. A number moving between machines you've never seen, managed by people you've never met, based entirely on the idea that everyone agrees the number is real. Here's the part most people skip past. That agreement is the whole story. Every version of money humans have used, shells, salt, gold, paper, plastic, code, was solving the exact same problem. Not, how do we pay for things? That part's easy. The real problem was always, how do two strangers trust each other long enough to trade? 10,000 years ago, the answer was a shell. A specific kind, from a specific coastline, hard to fake, easy to carry. Cowrie shells worked as currency across parts of Africa, Asia, and the Pacific for longer than the US dollar has existed, mostly because almost nobody could counterfeit a seashell. The trust was built into the object itself. Gold did the same job, better, heavy, rare, doesn't rot, doesn't rust. Melt it, stamp it, bury it under a floorboard, and it still means something 100 years later. The metal carried the trust. You didn't need to know or like the person across from you. The gold did the talking. Paper is where things get strange, because paper is worth nothing on its own. A bill is cotton and ink. What gives it value is a promise printed on it, and an institution standing behind that promise. For a stretch of history, that paper was redeemable for gold sitting in a vault. You were trusting an object that represented another object. Then, in 1971, that link was cut. After that, the cash in your pocket stopped being backed by metal at all. It was backed by confidence. Nothing else. That's the part most people never sit with. The money in your bank account right now has no physical anchor, no gold bar with your name on it. Just a shared belief, held by millions of strangers, that everyone else will keep believing it tomorrow. And once money became belief instead of metal, the next step was obvious. If it's just belief, why does it need to be physical at all? That's the gap your debit card lives in. That's the gap behind every direct deposit notification. Your paycheck never touches a vault. It's a number subtracted from one ledger and added to another, and you trust your bank's ledger, roughly the way someone in 1850 trusted that gold wouldn't quietly turn into sand. Here's where most explanations get it backwards. People talk about crypto like it broke money's rules, some wild new invention playing a different game entirely. It didn't. Crypto is the oldest idea in money, wearing the newest outfit. A shared ledger, kept by people who don't know each other, agreeing on rules so nobody has to trust one single person. That's not new. That's what a village marketplace was doing with shells. Just slower, with fewer strangers, and no app. The real shift across 10,000 years isn't shells to gold to cash to crypto. The shift is who you're trusting. With shells, you trusted scarcity. With gold, you trusted chemistry. With paper, you trusted a government. With a card swipe, you trust a bank's database. With crypto, the pitch is that you don't need to trust a person at all, because math enforces the rules instead. Whether that pitch holds up depends on the platform, the regulation, and how carefully the underlying system is actually run, and that part is still being written. Every upgrade in money has made the trust harder to see. You used to be able to hold it, weigh it, bite it to check it was real. Now it lives in a phone, in a number, on a server you'll never look at. That convenience came at a cost most people never priced in. The less you can see what backs your money, the less control you have if that system ever stutters. So the next time that beep goes off at checkout, that's not nothing. That's 10,000 years of people answering one question. Who do you trust enough to call this real, compressed into half a second and a green check mark? The useful question isn't whether crypto, cash, or cards are better. Markets and rules around all three keep shifting, and outcomes for any of them vary by time and place, so nobody can promise you which one wins. The better question is simpler. When you look at the balance sitting in your account right now, do you actually know who you're trusting to keep that promise?